a retirement fund. Hey everyone, Adam Bergman here, tax attorney and founder of IRA Financial. And on today's AdBits, how do you start a retirement fund? So we're going back to the basics. So this is a really important podcast. I can speak about this topic for hours and hours and hours, probably do a whole college course on it or law school course, which I probably will at some point. But for today's purposes, I'm going to really dummy it down, keep it simple. And if this is your first interaction with a retirement fund, a retirement account, I'm going to really explain how do you start, how do you open an IRA, a Roth IRA, a SEP IRA, a simple IRA, and even a 401k. So the IRA, the modern retirement system, was founded in 1974 by ERISA. Prior to 1974, only large corporations offered any type of retirement benefits through what was known largely at that time as a defined benefit plan. So in 1974, ERISA was created IRAs, created 401ks, SEPs were created later, 1982, Simples later, and Roths in 1997. But the whole foundation of the U.S. retirement system and why it's important to start a retirement fund is it's based off two principles. Most important is deferral. Your money grows in the retirement account without tax. Okay, that's the father of the concept of compounding returns, meaning as your money grows in the retirement account without tax, that's going to lead to compounding returns. Rule of 72, your money will double every 9 years, assuming an 8% rate of return. Okay, that's the secret sauce of why you should open a retirement fund. On top of that, you get a benefit of, if you're doing a pre-tax IRA or 401k contribution, is you get the advantage of a tax deduction. So in 2024, the most you can put in an IRA is $7,000 if you're under 50 years old, or $8,000 if you're over 50 years old. And for a SEP IRA, it's $69,000. For a simple IRA, it is $16,500. $16,000 with a $3,500 catch up. And for a 401k with deferrals, it's $23,000 or $30,500 if you're over 50 years old. So if you do it all in pre-tax, you get those deductions, and deductions will reduce your taxable income dollar for dollar. So if you had $100,000 in income, you put $20,000 in a 401k, you now pay tax on $80,000. So that's obviously an advantage. And then when you add the layer of deferral, compounded returns, you can see why there are 65 million IRAs, 13 trillion in IRA money, and then over $33 trillion in retirement money. So let's just go through the income rules real quick. So I'll start with the 401k because it's the easiest. If you are working somewhere that has a 401k, and so long as you are an employee, you can benefit and make contributions into their 401k plan. If you're self-employed, you can set up what's called a solo 401k, even if you have a sole proprietorship, a C Corp, an S Corp, LLC partnership, and you could put away $69,000 or $76,500 if you're over 50. Now let's move into the IRA and Roth IRA world. $7,000, $8,000 if you're over 50 is the max. Now, who can make IRA contributions? So if you have no access to a 401k at work, even if you make $1 million a year, you can still do a pre-tax IRA of $7,000 or $8,000. Now, if you're single and you have access to a 401k at work, then if you make more than $87,000, you can't do a pre-tax IRA. You can do a Roth, and we'll get to that in a minute, but you can't do another pre-tax IRA. Why? Because the IRS is trying to limit your ability to get deductions, which lowers their tax revenue. Now, if you're married, filed jointly, and you have access to a 401k at work, if you make more than $240,000 married, filed jointly, you cannot do a pre-tax IRA. And we'll see in a second how you can do a Roth IRA. If you're married, filed jointly, and your spouse has access to a 401k at work, but you don't, if you make more than $143,000, then you could if you make more than 143, you can't. If you make less than 143, you would be able to. And this is if you have access to a 401k at work and your spouse doesn't. But if your spouse has access to a 401k at work and you don't, then it's 240K. So I just want to make sure that's clear. So you have a higher contribution limit, or at least income limitation. If your spouse if you're married, filed jointly, and your spouse has access to a 401k at work and you don't, it's 240. If you have access to a 401k at work and your spouse doesn't, and you want to do a pre-tax IRA, it's $143K. Once you're over that, you can't do the pre-tax IRA, but let's do the Roth. So the Roth, unlike a pre-tax IRA, is an after-tax account. That means you do not get a tax deduction for making the contribution, but so long as you're over 59 and a half and the Roth's been open at least 5 years, you can pull everything out of the Roth IRA tax-free. So that's obviously the huge advantage. No deduction, but so long as you're over 59 and a half and the Roth IRA has been open at least 5 years, you can pull everything out tax-free. So who can make Roth IRA contributions? Well, if you're single, the income limitation is $161,000. If you make more than 161, can't do a Roth. If you're married, filed jointly, it's 240. Now, here's the caveat. There's something called a backdoor Roth IRA, which has been in existence since 2010. And that means you can do an after-tax IRA contribution. And since there's no more income limitations for Roth conversions, you can then immediately convert the after-tax IRA to Roth. And since it's after-tax, you're going to Roth, there's no tax on that conversion. So that's a circumvent. So even if you make $100 million a year in W-2, you can still do a backdoor Roth IRA through doing the after-tax to Roth conversion. You're still limited to the 7 or 8K. You can do it. Just keep in mind, if you have other pre-tax IRAs hanging out there, there may only be a portion that could be converted to Roth without being subject to tax. So now that you understand the basics, foundations of the retirement system, the key is starting. Okay, that's the most important step, is starting a retirement fund. Why? I'm going to go through some examples, but remember I mentioned the whole basis of the retirement system is based off the power of deferral, compounded returns. So that means it's based off time. Okay, the longer your money's in the retirement account and the more you keep adding to it and the better you invest, the more money you're going to have. Let's do some examples. You're 25 years old and you put in $2,000 a year and you say, you know what, from 25 to 70, I'm going to put in $2,000. I'm going to do 8% rate of return, which is still pretty conservative. And if I do that from 25 to 70 years old, $2,000 a year, I won't go up or down. I'm just going to stay consistent. I'm going to trust the process. I'm going to be patient, but I'm going to start at 25. I'd have $773,000. Now, instead of 25, I started 21. I'm going to have over $1 million. So starting a retirement fund is the most important thing you can do. Second most is consistent, make contributions every year. Third is be patient. Okay, this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. This takes time. Take 20, 30, 40 years. But it's a minor sacrifice, right? $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a year. Yes, there's better things to do with the money. Sure, you can go to Vegas or buy yourself a nice suit or a nice bag or watch or whatever. Sure. We all can blow 2, 3, 4, 5 grand very easily and have some fun doing it. But if you kind of cut around the corners and preserve and save, just make some minor sacrifices, take advantage of the retirement system. It's rigged in our favor. It's going to create a major surplus, major nest egg for you when you're older. It will supplement Social Security, will supplement your other savings, and it can make you an IRA millionaire, right? The example is perfect. You start at 21, you put in $2,000 a year till 70, 8% rate of return, you have $1 million, right? Let's say you're 31 and you do that. Okay, you only will have 477. So you lost the 10 years, and now you basically lost more than half of the value. So starting a retirement fund is key. If you just want to open an IRA and just do stocks or mutual funds, ETFs, any institution, Fidelity, Schwab, Robinhood, anyone, any major broker dealer will open an account for you gladly. There'll be probably 0 fees, especially if you're buying ETF stocks. So it's not cost prohibitive. It's not scary. Hopefully this podcast has explained to you that starting is the most important step. Now you know what an IRA is, a Roth IRA, the SEP and simple, and the solo 401ks if you're self-employed. If you work for a company, then contribute to the 401k. Why? Because most 401k plans also have what's called a match, safe harbor match, meaning if you make 50K and put 3% in, that's $1,500. The company will match 3%. So they'll give you free $1,500 in your 401k. So you'll have $3,000 instead of $1,500. So that is the best way to save. But on top of that, you can still, depending on your income, do either a pre-tax IRA or the Roth IRA or the backdoor Roth. So you can then keep adding more money to save, because the more you save, the better, right? Let's say 31, I'll give you the same example, $2,000 a year from 31 to 70, 8% rate of return, you'd have 477,000. But instead of 2,000, if you put 6,000 in, you would have 1.4 million. Okay. So if you're sitting here saying, at about 30, 40 years old, like it's too late. No, it's never too late, right? Look, instead of at 31, you put 6K in, 8% rate of return, 1.4 million. So you're 41. Okay. And you say, you know what? I'll put in 6,500 a year, 41 to 70, 8% rate of return. I'm going to have $676,000 approximately. Like, that's pretty good. That's not 20 million. I get it. And you may say, well, 675 grand is not going to be 675 grand in 20 or 30 years. Okay. But it's better than zero, right? And you're going to take advantage of compounded returns. It's a forced savings. If you do it in a Roth, it will be tax-free. So it's going to be worth probably 800,000, assuming you're at a 25% tax rate. It's like getting an extra $150,000 to $200,000 of free money, because what you pull out will be tax-free. And you can have it for yourself. If you don't need it because you have tons of money, you're successful, great. Your kids can use it. Your other family members can use it. They can pull it out tax-free. It will supplement your lifestyle, let you buy a vacation home, golf for the rest of your life, pay off your kids' college, law school, medical school, buy your kids a home, whatever you want, you can do it. And yes, that 6,000 or 6,500 or 2,000 or 1,500, it's a sacrifice. Yeah, sure. We'd all like to blow it on going to Vegas for the weekend, but it's a minor sacrifice, and it can and will lead to guaranteed tax-free wealth if you follow the 3 steps. Start the retirement fund, start the account, whether it's an IRA, a Roth, a SEP, simple 401k, start it, fund it, be consistent. Even if you have a tough, challenging year and you can't put in 5,000 or 2,000, put in $100. Just keep the good habits flowing. Thirdly, just be patient. Just watch the money grow. Trust the process. There's nothing you have to do. I would suggest checking your account every quarter, every year. This is a long-term 20, 30, 40-year play. It's not a 5-year play, right? I just did a recent podcast on 5-year retirement plan. That's BS. There's no such thing as a 5-year get-rich-quick scheme in the retirement system. You need time and you need patience. Okay, obviously you need to make contributions and be consistent and have some pretty good investment fortune, right? 8% is good. You probably can do better, but over the next 30 years, but 8% is fair. And if you just do those things, you potentially and should have close to $1 million or $1 million plus tax-free in an IRA. And I've seen it. I've been doing this, been practicing law 24 years, been in the IRA space 15 years. I've seen it for me. I've seen it for my parents. I've seen it for my friends, my family, my colleagues. It works. It's guaranteed. It's math. Compound returns, 8th one of the world. Don't trust me. Trust Albert Einstein. He said it, not me. So that's it. I hope this inspired you. Set up a retirement account. You don't even have to set one up at IRA Financial. If you just want to buy stocks or ETFs, then go just open a free account anywhere. I don't care. Just start. Get going. Have fun. Enjoy it. Watch the money grow. Okay. I'll give you a funny example. So this is kind of embarrassing, but my last law firm I worked at, I had an IRA. It's like, I don't know, like 100 and something thousand bucks. It's like 15 years ago. And I gave it to someone to invest. And again, this is embarrassing. I forgot I had that money. Literally forgot about it. Not that I'm so rich, but like, yeah, you're just busy at work. And I got statements and the guy moved firms and, I just lost touch. I just honestly forgot about the money. Because again, this is for my retirement. I'm not using it. I'm not going to liquidate it or sell it or take distributions. I'm under 59 and a half. So I just kind of like forgot about it. I've focused on IRA Financial, focused on videos and podcasts and my kids. Forgot about it. Anyways, I got a call for the guy because he reached out. He's like, I moved firms. First of all, do you want to move your money with me? I'm like, yeah. By the way, how much money do I have with you? And he's like, let me check. He's like, you have 600 and something thousand bucks. I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, you started, 15 years ago at 100 and something. And we've done okay. You've been pretty conservative, but it's like tripled, quadrupled in value. I guess you're right. 16 years, compounded, we got 8% rate of return, quadrupled. It's like, holy cow, I'm rich. No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't even realize it's there. 15 years goes fast. 30 years goes fast too. So it adds up. It's algebra, it's math, it's guaranteed to work. Just, you don't have to buy alts, right? You don't have to use IRA Financial. Just use and invest, whether you buy stocks or ETFs, mutual funds, get your 6 to 10% and watch your money grow and live a great, prosperous life. The government is rigging this in our favor. It's my job to help educate you guys so you know how to work the system and know how to become a tax-free millionaire. So thanks for hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. Please give it a good review if you don't mind. That helps boost the podcast so more people can listen to it. If you're watching on YouTube, thumbs up, appreciate it. That's it. Have a great day, and I'll see everyone again next week. Ciao.